Of course, they'll follow the suit.
I understand that there's a lot of frustration, especially for the county governments, having to deal with bills that came from even the defunct county councils and municipal councils. But should it get to this point?
The first thing is that we need to know there has to be respect. And here we talk about institutional issues, literally, from a policy perspective. There has to be some respect on how both levels of government should work together. That's number one. Of course, there has been a lot of frustrations across the board. This is just one example. Having said that, we don't want to go to degenerate to where we were in 1960s or 1940s, like we are going back. This is a civilized, nation. This is a capital city. I mean, this is one of the cities, one of the biggest cities in Africa. So really, there has to be some way how we handle our issues. Things about disputes on arrears and all that. And both sides are saying, you owe me and you owe me. People, there's something called civil suits. People go to court, literally, to compel other people to pay. And if they go to court, that's why we come and say, don't take each other to court, then there has to be some mediation. So there is a failure of some systems working. That shows very clearly between the two levels. One, what happens when either national government or county government is owed, okay? First, if mediation fails, or if you're not able to get that money in a normal way because of one reason or another, you should go to court. Before you go to court, there has to be an intergovernmental mediation team or something. Because again, the other problem that we have today, many parastatals are taking each other to court. County governments are taking national government to court. National governments are taking county governments to court over many issues, many issues. Procurement issues, issues on supply, issues on debts, pending bills and all that. That is what should happen to reduce this cost. Imagine you hire 2-5 lawyers to go represent you against another government body. Call it county or national. That shows there's a failure in the system, how it should work on the intergovernmental relationships. It shows there's a failure in between either parastatals within national government or county governments, because there are some county governments who do the same. Also, there has to be a better way of dealing with it. Well, the only problem is that looking at the city count, it's not the first time. It's not the first time. I remember it happened again. So we are having this mentality of the old, Kanjo, having not transformed into a county government, because county governments don't do like that. I mean, you should be comparing Nairobi with, other cities, cities like, in Africa, the best cities, and also the best cities in the world. But there is that mentality of the Kanjo mentality is still crying over, it's still the people who are there, those guys. And then Sakaja goes to say he didn't know. I mean, nobody can do that without the knowledge of the governor. County governments are controlled exclusively by the governors. Okay. Everything, even the driver and whatever they do. So, well, he turns back and says, me, I didn't know, I just said ABCD. But the mentality of the old Kanjo system is still working overdrive in Nairobi. That's why you see some tactics that happen around here, even with the county askari. It's not very polished. The image is not as good. It's not necessary. Yeah. By the way, this is a waste of people's time.
You must agree with Dr. Mbae that indeed the county government of Nairobi and its officers have not been acting